On April 26, Lake Victoria exhibited and presented at the Chicago Resource Expo. On the same day, Dr. David Webb was interviewed to get a better understanding of the metallurgical results press released.
Hello Dave, we're at the Chicago Resource Expo and we released a news release today on our metallurgical results. I just wondered if you could help us understand these a little bit better. One of the first things that comes to mind is, what is the process for the metallurgical result?
What we tested and what we reported on today is a combination of cyanide recovery, gravity recovery, and flotation. And it's sort of the logical process for most gold mines. The gravity is the cheapest of all recoveries, and it gives you pieces of gold that you can instantly table, upgrade by tabling, and smelt into a doré bar. So we really like that. Gold that you mine in quartz one day and process, you can actually be pouring into gold bricks for sale that evening. So it's very nice. After that, and that's the easy gold, and we got over 60% recovery, which is rather exceptional. We then took the tails from that process, so with the gravity gold stripped out of it, and then we thought we could either float the gold, which is using froth flotation, a method of just forcing air bubbles in and seeing if the smallest flakes of gold will float. And the third process that we tested was cyanidation, and the flotation was rather disappointing, but the cyanide recoveries did give us, in aggregate with the gravity recovery, over 95% recovery, which is excellent.
Mm-hmm. So Dave, I wonder if you can elaborate on the cyanide recovery for us.
Yes, cyanide is perhaps the most common way to recover gold in a typical industrial application. So most of the gold mines in the world use cyanide at very dilute concentrations. And what we did is we found that we had to grind the gold, the mineralization, to quite a fine grind to recover it. And this is really important because we now know that we do have to target about 80–90% of the grind has to be finer than 0.074 millimeters or 74 microns. And that gives us our wonderful gravity recovery, but it does give us an enhanced cyanide recovery.
Dave, that makes it clearer for us. I was just wondering, how much does it cost and how much cyanide is needed?
Well, we found in the process that we actually use very little cyanide. Cyanide is an extremely volatile commodity. It's sometimes it's in great demand and sometimes it's in surplus. Right now it costs somewhere around $4.50 to $5 a kilogram, and we need less than a kilogram. So we need around about 0.7 kilos of cyanide for every ton of mineralization we process. And that enables us to say, okay, if it's $4.50 or $5, we can be expending maybe $3 per ton in cyanide costs, and you add on top of that the grinding cost, the recovery cost, and it helps us determine that our total milling costs or processing costs to get that 95% of the gold. So we now have a target figure, a cost, an operating cost, that we can plan our cutoffs, and we know how much gold we need to cover all of our operating costs, and anything over that should be profit.
Dave, just a comment from you perhaps on investors' feeling towards gold right now, because we are at the Chicago Expo. Just wondering how you found people responding to the market.
I think it was actually quite an interesting show. There's a rather exalted panel giving a presentation, a closing presentation right now, but one of the panelists had a booth beside us, and I think he appropriately described it as, isn't it odd that when one of the major retailers has a sale, people are willing to line up for it, but when the stock market has a sale, a lot of investors want to dump that product or stay away from it. And it's that odd peculiarity with people and finances. I think that was well explained here in the average investor, the average analyst walking around here, and indeed some of our cohorts in the other booth understands that very well, and it's trying to make use of that and deal with the people that are interested in buying at this time.
Well, Dave, thanks for that comment, and we also appreciate your comments on the press release on the metallurgical results. That has helped us to understand these a lot better, and they seem like really good results.
They're wonderful results. Thanks for talking.